Welcome back, everybody. Mr. Balker here for Career Exploration. We're going to go ahead and go through another lesson in this. Specifically, we're doing Unit 2, Lesson 5, Government, Law, and Public Safety Careers. We've gone over some of this stuff a little bit already. And so what they're doing is, again, this thing's broken down really neatly. It's just going to have examples of careers. What does that take? What kind of work is it? Is this something maybe you'd be interested in? That's the whole point of class, guys. It's for you to learn what stuff is out there so that maybe you can offer some guidance to yourself and say, well, do I want to do that? Do I not want to do that? That's the whole point. So let's start with correction services. Corrections means that somebody did something wrong and they're being punished and dealt with. Corrections officers, however, two of my good friends actually used to work at a prison whenever they were in college, actually. It was a church outreach thing, and so they would go work at the prison and kind of get to know the inmates, because the reality is not all inmates are just crazy, terrible people. Sometimes they're people that made a mistake. That's it. They just made a big mistake, and maybe they're trying to get better from it. So a corrections officer, contrary to what it might be sort of in your head and depicted as in media and such, a lot of times these guys are here to try to help people, to try to provide guidance, to try to maybe get people to literally correct their actions. That's why it's called that. So the examples they've given here is warden, case manager, probation parole officer, medical staff, and prison guards. Okay, let's go through the ones that I think are most interesting to talk about right there. Case managers, probation, and parole officers. A case manager is somebody who's going to work with a person who's done something that has gone wrong, right? It's a correction situation, so it's not like they saved a whole bunch of kittens from a fire. That's not why you're talking to them. But these people maybe know that, hey, this was a mistake, and I've got to get better, and I'm going to do things differently. And so what does a case worker do in that situation, a case manager? They talk them through that process. How did we get here? Why did you rob the bank? Well, I was desperate. I actually know a guy who robbed a bank. Really do, okay? When I was at a job a while ago, one of the employees of the place left for lunch, robbed a bank, came back like nothing happened. Why did he do it? He wasn't crazy. He was desperate. He had things to pay for. He was scared. He was confused. And he just knew that he couldn't get it done. I'm not trying to paint him in a great light. What he did was wrong, make no mistake, but a corrections officer is going to have a different conversation with him because he knows it was something wrong. And he's going to have somebody who willfully and repeatedly did something wrong. And so that's where a case manager really comes into play. How'd you get here? Why did you get here? What are the decisions that led you to this point where you thought, there's nothing else I can do with this, right? Does that make sense to you? It's honestly a rewarding job. And it's something that if you want to make a difference in people's lives, that's what they're trying to do. Probation and parole officers are a similar thing. Once a person has served their time and they're released back into the general public, okay, and they're just out among us, they still need to check in and make sure that they're walking the right path. Okay, the things that got them there the first time might come back up. A buddy of mine, God, you think I know a lot of criminals. I guess I do. A buddy of mine back in high school wanted a car. Didn't have any money, wanted a nice car, so he stole one. And he got caught. And he got out. So he had to talk to a parole officer after that to make sure that he wasn't going to make that kind of move again. That the parole officer was going to check in and say, hey, look, unnamed friend, why did you do that? How can we make sure you don't go down that road again? And so he got a job, and the guy has turned his life around. He's got a phenomenal family, a successful career. He's very happy, and I'm happy for him. That's the whole hope in this system. It's not just to punish people, right? When your parents yell at you or ground you or punish you, it's not like the whole point is the punishment. The punishment is required to help steer you back the right way, okay? So I hope you understand, in the world of corrections, that's what these jobs tend to be about. It's trying to steer people back to the right thing, to give them important skills, right? So a lot of those things, that's what they do. Legal services. Everybody knows what lawyers do, and that's what they're talking about right here. Do you like to argue and debate? That's what lawyers do on TV, right? You see the lawyers on TV, and they're going back and forth, and they're talking to the defendant, they're talking to the other lawyers, they're talking to any witness. Here's the thing about that. I want to make sure that you understand, and they mentioned it here slightly, lawyers do not get to do that all the time. They show a trial lawyer in a trial, performing trial stuff. What they don't show is that a lot of times lawyers are just filing a paper and sending an email and talking to somebody about something and then sending another requisition. They're inspecting things. A lot of lawyering is making deals and researching stuff. It's not all, I object and all of that, but there's a lot of careers associated with legal career as well. Attorneys, we've already covered. Court reporters, they sit there and write down what happened. It's a very rare skill that you can keep up with somebody talking as fast as I am and type out everything. They actually have a special keyboard and everything. It's called a court stenographer. File and document managers. There's an enormous amount of paperwork that goes along with the American legal system. And I mean, oh doctor, is there a lot of paperwork. There are pages and pages for every single thing. Legal secretaries. As I said, the lawyers have to do a whole bunch of work in order to get the paperwork filed and so forth. Legal secretaries handle that. They make sure that everything goes to the right person. They make sure that when somebody calls in and Mr. Lawyer Guy's out doing something far away, and because he's not just going to answer his phone, right? He's got to have his calls filtered. He's never going to get anything done. Legal secretary knows what can wait and what can't wait. It takes a person to do that type of work. All right, security and protective services. Security people, by and large, protect something for someone, whether that is private security or whether that is public security, right? Public security, things like the police. Private security, however, a lot of people mistake these types of people for police. There's a house being built a little ways down the street from me, and this house is crazy, and I mean crazy. This house is, I want to say 30,000 square feet. It's on this nice big patch of land over at, it's like 111th and Sheridan, and these people have so much money and so much to protect that there is a security guard on duty all day, every day. This project, them building the house, has been going on for 3 years. The employment of security guard all day, every day is more than one guy. They're probably spending $200,000 a year just on security. That's the kind of job that it is. This person sits there and makes sure that, you know, Mr. Nosy Guy doesn't decide to go walking around a construction project, either steal some stuff or mess something up, whatever. That's what security does. Other security jobs, armored car drivers. Banks pay the Brinks people to collect their money to move it from place to place. They don't want their employees out there potentially getting robbed. No, they hire a security company that's going to do that. That is a security position. Uniformed security officer, you see these oftentimes at the bank, right? You go to the bank, they don't always have a policeman inside. A lot of times they have a security officer. There's a jewelry store also near my house. There's a security car out front every day. There's a security guy inside the store all day, every day. He's got a uniform, and most of the time they've got a gun. Okay, and then they give us some examples here. Okay, I'm going to read through these real quickly. Jacob is excellent with both computers and numbers. He loves solving mysteries and works well independently. He's completed a dual major in computer science and accounting. He works in computer forensics, tracking down embezzlers. That's a pretty cool job, right? This kid's pretty smart. He knows a lot about computers. Embezzlers, what embezzlement is it's people that take money that they're not supposed to take, generally from their business. For example, let's say I was doing a fundraiser here at school, and you guys are out selling candy for me, and I just kept it. Embezzlement, illegal, because I was supposed to turn the money back into the people that I'm raising the money for, but instead I kept it. That's embezzlement, okay? Jessica has always been a daredevil, looking for adventure. However, she also strongly believes she should help other people. She became a firefighter in her community and an EMT after high school. Now she sits part of each year fighting wildfires. I think this has more to do with yesterday's or the previous lesson than anything else, But yeah, she's got a unique set of skills, and volunteer firefighting is kind of a big deal. There's property all over the place that isn't served in the same way that the Tulsa Tulsa Fire Department serves Tulsa, because we're all crowded in here. When you live out in the middle of nowhere, it's oftentimes a volunteer fire department. In situations like what's going on in California, that whole big fire thing, there's more there than they can handle. And so somebody like her would actually go out and volunteer their time and help out, right? And try to make a difference. Working in law, public safety, corrections, and security. Careers in law, public safety, corrections, security are important for towns, states, and countries. People, these careers keep order and protect people. If you choose a career, you might work in a prison, a police department, a laboratory, a legal office, a museum, a courthouse, or an airport. There's a lot of options there. There really is. The gist of it that I would take from this is these jobs don't take the same skills. They don't take the same education. Being a security officer is not going to take the same training that being a lawyer is going to take. Being a court reporter isn't going to take the same amount of training as also being a lawyer, right? Some things will be crossed over, but there's all kinds of different things associated with it. And so if you think you want to be in legal services, but you don't want to spend all that time at college getting a JD, which is a Juris Doctorate, a very expensive and challenging degree, okay, we get it. You don't have to. There's other jobs in the legal services field that you might want to chase down, and that's the purpose of this, is to talk about those things. Last of all here, what they're talking about is, these aren't all of them. Of course not all of them. One thing that I want to mention to you guys, they've gone over this public safety and police and stuff like that. One thing I guarantee you is going to change by the time you guys get older is the police departments are going to change. You're going to see a lot more social care, a lot more how can we help people than we see right now. I've got a friend in California who works as a social worker with the Allied Police Department that he's near, and he will go out on domestic calls and kind of walk through, hey, what's going on with the family? He's not a big scary guy, he's a real nice guy, but it helps diffuse the situation. And I think that's something that you're going to see in our police departments going down the road, is that they're going to try to make this safer, because sometimes it's so high energy that people end up getting hurt that don't need to. So that's it. That's my commentary on this lesson. That's a number of different careers. I hope it finds you well, and I hope that you enjoyed it. There's a lot of things to learn about here. I hope you guys have found something that you're like, oh, that's cool, I didn't know that. All right, that's it. I will see you guys here real soon. Thanks.